Boom! Good morning, good morning. So I made it. I did it. I hit 3 straight years of daily meditation. 3 straight years of daily meditation. And when I started this journey, when I started dabbling with meditation, with the practice, I never thought I'd actually get to this point, right? And so many times we don't take action because we can't see the future. And I'll just tell you, you need to just take a step forward and keep stepping, and then the future will show itself eventually. And today I want to share with you the top 5 things I learned while meditating for 3 straight years. Number 5, and I'm going to work myself and work backwards. Number 5 is you need to start small, right? Start small. Doing things in little increments will help you build up that positive energy, right? That momentum, and be consistent, right? Consistency is so much more important than intensity, especially as we get into, the end of the year and New Year's. So many people are going to start new habits, new rituals, take on New Year's resolutions. Start small and be consistent, right? That consistency day in, day out is such a critical factor. And then you need to track it, right? What you track grows, what you focus on grows. So when you have the ability to see how many consecutive days for meditation, for example, I was seeing every time I meditated, how many consecutive days I had meditated. And it just inspires you, right? That motivates you. That inspires you. But you need to take action, small actions, consistent actions. And then when you focus on it, you track it, it grows. And then you get to where I am now, right? 3 straight years of meditation. So that was number 5. Number 4, meditation for me provided balance, right? Balance of the fire, the energy, the passion that I bring to every day, that relentlessness, that pursuit allows me that balance, that quiet time to focus on my breath, to have a sense of calm as I'm starting my day. I typically meditate as part of my morning fire routine. In the morning, before everybody gets up, it's quiet, it's dark. It gives me the ability to control my breath, reduce stress, and have a sense of calm and really just lean into the day. So that would be number 4, right? Providing that balance, reducing stress, and focusing on your breath. Number 3 is when you do something and you get consistent, then you can help others. And that was one of the most amazing things that has happened and kind of grown out of my meditation practice is now I meditate with my sons, right? We meditate in the morning, spend about 5 minutes each where we connect as a parent, as a father and a son. 2, I allow them to focus on their breath, in with the positive, out with the negative, in with courage, out with fear, right? And I am speaking things out into the universe, and they're there listening and breathing and going through the process. So that's very powerful as well. And you can take that into any aspect of your life, right? Once you get to a certain point and you feel good about where you're at, you feel like you've learned enough, then you can help others. And inherently we want to help others, right? That fulfills us. That makes us whole. So being able to share my meditation practice with my 2 sons has been one of the best parts of this meditation journey. And I think about how much farther they're going to be because they're 10 and 12. And we started last year when they were 9 and 11, them going through this process. Imagine where they're going to be in their 20s, 30s, knowing about meditation, going through the practice. I'm just excited for that piece. So that was number 3. Once you get to a certain point, help others, right? Help others share what you've learned. That's a critical piece. Number 2, and this is something I didn't know I'd be able to do, was taking control of my mind. So many times our mind stops us in our tracks, right? Our mind's 2 basic principles at the core are to keep us safe and certain. Anytime you try and get out of that comfort zone, the mind snaps you back. It pulls you back in. You've probably felt that before when you tried to do something new, or you wanted to make a phone call or call on a prospect or do something fitness-wise that was out of your comfort zone. You probably felt that twinge after 3 to 5 seconds, right? Because that's typically when the mind steps in to say, hey, this isn't safe and this isn't certain, so you shouldn't do it. Well, meditating allows me to control my breath, focus on my mind and really my thoughts, and have a general awareness of who I am as a person and what kind of thoughts are going in my mind and my head. And so many times we go through our days and we don't necessarily have an awareness of what our mind is dictating to us, right? Our mind is controlling us, not us controlling our minds. And meditation has definitely given me that space to be allow me to control some of my thoughts, or at least have an awareness of what those thoughts are, and then say, is that really true? Or is that fear just creeping in? Is that a false emotion appearing real that the mind creates to keep me safe and certain? And knowing that, then I can move past it. Right? Think about that. We have many different thoughts that pop into our mind. If our mind tries to keep us safe and certain, anything we do outside of that comfort zone, it's going to try and pull us back in. But if you have an awareness, and meditation was definitely a critical factor in my awareness, you can then start to say, you know what, mind, I understand what you're telling me, but that is not the case, and I'm going to move forward anyway. And that's just incredibly powerful when you can learn that practice, right? When you can go through, have an awareness of what the mind is telling you, and really question whether that is true or not, right? What is that outcome going to be if you move forward? Yes, it might not be safe or certain, but is anybody going to be harmed if you go forward? Are you going to be physically harmed, mentally harmed if you go forward? Many times, you're not. So that will allow you the ability to go forward. So meditation definitely helps in that battle with our mind, and our minds are our biggest enemy. Our mind doesn't sleep, it doesn't eat, it knows our weaknesses, and it always shows up. So if you have the ability to control your mind, create some space each day through meditation, and start to have an awareness, imagine how much more powerful you'll be. Imagine yielding that power that the mind has for yourself. So definitely number 2, taking control of my mind, having an awareness has been a critical lesson that I learned through 5 years. And then lastly, number one lesson that I learned is you need to commit. You need to commit 100%. You need to burn the boats, right? The story of the Vikings, famous warriors sailing to far off islands. They would get there, their captains, the men would get onto the shore, and the captains would burn the boats, meaning they had one of 2 options. They could even win the battle and go back to their loved ones. Imagine how fierce they were as warriors if they only had 2 options, either win the war or die. That was it. Imagine how you'd show up. So the number 1 lesson is committing. And I made a commitment 3 years ago, and I still have that commitment today, that each and every day, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, I'm going to meditate. When you burn the boats, when you go all in, when you make that commitment, physically, mentally, spiritually, the possibilities are endless. You can do anything you put your mind to if you commit 100%. And that is a huge lesson that I learned. Number 1 lesson that I learned in meditating over 3 years, right? 3 years straight, 1,095 days. I had to write it down. 13,800 minutes I've been meditating over the past 3 years. Serious commitment, but I committed and I went all in. So where can you use that lesson? Any one of these 5 lessons to apply it to your life, to apply it to the success, the results that you truly want, desire, dream about. And that number 1 is you've got to commit. You've got to go all in.